Okay, am I in the center? Okay, long night, long time no see, everybody. Figured I'd come on here and speak truth to power, real quick. That's a crazy way to start this. I'm gonna like awkwardly try to keep my hand right here because my logo reveals where I work. But yeah, what am I doing? That is the question. What am I doing? For the past few months, I've been reflecting on the ways in which I can be the most effective when it comes to my advocacy and to contributing to resistance, what my priorities are. And I've come to the conclusion that I think the only way out of the situation that we're in is revolution. I think that's the goal we should all be working towards. No matter if we're reformists or anarchists or somewhere in between, that's what we should work towards, because the empire is falling and people are dying. And now that I have that part understood, about what my priority is, which is to contribute to the eventual revolution. I don't know if it'll be when I'm alive. With the way global warming is coming, we might not have a planet within my lifetime. So I don't know. But that's what I want to contribute to, the eventual toppling of this empire that is now known as the United States of America, but it could be something else in the future, you know what I mean? And also, how does that pertain to my main focus, which is the well-being of children, caregivers, and educators? This was a lot. I had my thoughts really strewn together this morning when I was talking to myself, but now that a camera is in front of me, I'm like, pondering things and yeah. So this whole time I've just been like, what do I want to do? How do I want to do this? How am I going to accomplish my goals when I feel so pulled in different directions? I'm like, I know I can't be everywhere at once, and I have to focus on something, right? And for a long time, it was just early childhood education. It was just, teacher, child, family welfare. But I realized that those are really big niches, even within the field of education. Niche. Isn't that an oxymoron? A big niche. I don't think that's the thing. That's a really big umbrella, and I need to really hone in on what it is I'm trying to accomplish, bit by bit, and how that can contribute to the, to the liberation of American people, of American children. And so I'm like pulled in all these different directions. I see so many things online. I'm like, I know that the best use anyone can be to any movement is to work locally. But then I see things on the news about immigrant children or children of immigrants, and then I see things about children in Congo and Sudan and Palestine, and then things about disabled children and their rights being rolled back, and I'm just like, I care about all these things, and it's so hard for me to just focus on one thing. But the truth is, I can't be effective by putting 5% of my energy into everything instead of 100% of my energy into one thing. So I haven't specifically figured out what niche I want to focus on, but I know how to now move forward in a way that aligns with my politics. So I don't know if it's clear from my previous YouTube videos, but I am I feel a traditional Black radical. I've been raised to be that. I wasn't taught anything else. And previously, when I organized, my first real introduction to organizing was when I was president of my college's early childhood education club. I did that for 3 years. We distributed, information on reproductive health, condoms, things like that. Did drives for our food pantry. We did a diaper drive that was pretty successful. Organized stuffed animal drives for children. And then the infamous child war victims exhibit that included memorials of children who had passed in Palestine since October 7th, Israeli children that had passed on October 7th, and Sudanese children that have been involved in the genocide that's been going on for 3 or 4, because I think it was going on longer than Palestine. And that was taken down. And we were kind of involved a bit in a back and forth. But because of the organization I was in, and I won't, this is not a dig at anyone, I definitely got support, but I could realize that the people I was working with to get this exhibit back up were not as persistent as me. And they're not radicals. Anyone who knows me during that time, that's weird. Anyone who was really, really close to me during that time knows what I was saying behind the scenes, which was, I'm ready to go into the president of the college's office and sit there until they pull me out. Of course, I didn't ever do that because I read the room and I could see the fatigue in a lot of people. Not to mention, I organized a petition at that time and got about 80 signatures from student and staff and faculty. But I mean, in the fight for this, I was pretty much by myself because at the time we didn't have a leadership team. It was just me and my club advisor. So she was in meetings by herself about it. I was in meetings by myself about it because they were determined to act as though we had no supporters. Lost my train of thought. But yeah, I could see the fatigue already in just the few months of back and forths. I could see the fatigue in my club members and people who, nobody really was like willing to keep pushing, which I was. And I know if I am around the right people, if I'm around other people who understand that struggles for justice, even relatively small struggles for justice on community colleges, though if I was around the people that understand that those struggles are long and hard and require self-sacrifice and require people switching roles so nobody gets burned out, so it's not something that someone can do alone. If I had more people around me like that, and I can't even blame anybody, because I signed a petition, but not I signed a petition. I, had the petition, but I didn't really make any calls to action. And I think it's because I doubted the student body. The college was in a small town, not a small town, but, random town, predominantly white, conservative county. And at least in the time that I was at the school, there was really nothing like it. I mean, since the whole thing, they have developed policy around student activism, which is even more repressive. So yeah, they really, I might have to make this I might have to make that a whole nother video. I might do a story time about it one day, just detailing everything that happened. But it's a lot of emails and a lot of documents and, jogging my memory. But anyways, back to what I was saying, self-sacrifice. I just didn't have that many people outside of my inner circle who understood that and who were as radical as me, not just in thought, but in action. Like, I think truthfully, the only person who would have been like, I'm the type of person that's like, oh, do we have the numbers? All right, let's stage an encampment. Do we have the numbers? All right, let's do a march. Do we have the numbers? All right, let's stay outside and make noise until we annoy them and make them do what we say. That's and to get justice, that requires doing things like that over and over and over and over again. And I just didn't have the people that wanted to do that around me, So now, why did I randomly stay on my tongue? So I say all that to say, moving forward, I think what I want to do is, instead of joining an organization that focuses on early childhood education and trying to move it towards my more radical politics, even though I don't think it's radical, anything that I believe. I don't. I think it's very basic stuff. This is another tangent. My basic principles are that everyone should have food, water, shelter, fun, community, education, access to healthcare, and the privilege to not die a preventable death. Those are my principles. I don't think that's radical. I don't think that's but we live in a country that's so backwards that is. So yeah, instead of trying to move a club that's focused on early childhood education and trying to move it to be more radical, even if they're engaging in advocacy, I would rather join an organization that is aligned with my radical politics and the tactics I think are most effective to reach the goal I want. And then from there, work my way up to being able to create a branch of that organization that focuses on early childhood education. I think that would be more effective than trying to get a group of educators who are centrist or don't know that much about politics, or are Democrats, to align with my beliefs. I did it. I tried it with my last club, and we got some things done. But if I were to have it my way, I would have kept going until my school would have had to kick me out or something, because or either they kicked me out or they surrender. So yeah, that's the idea. I'm working on my Instagram. I don't know how many of my subscribers from YouTube are. I think most of my subscribers are like random people I don't know. So you can follow me on Instagram. I just have a private account. I'll like link it or whatever. I share a lot of stuff on there, even though I'm not on there that much. But another thing I'm working on is a link tree. Over the past few years, I have collected so many resources, so many organizations, so many ways to take action, whether that be through electoral politics or through more radical means, I'll say, or through just simply education. I've collected so many resources, and I used to just share those all the time, and have them on a highlight called Help a Human. But now it's becoming overwhelming for me. I don't think it's very effective, and I'd rather just focus more. Now that I'm in the space where I don't have an organization right now, because I'm in transition I'm transferring to university, and I'm taking a gap semester, so I have this time to find another organization that I can get involved with, and hopefully stay in for years, because it's not going to be affiliated with like a university or anything. I'd rather focus now on my direct action. Even though like sharing stuff on Instagram has never stopped me from taking direct action, I just think there's more effective ways. So I'd rather have a link tree of every single thing I've collected, and it's so much. And I have it organized by state, and then I have it organized by topic, so that people can choose, like, do you want to work locally, or do you not care so much about local stuff and you just want to like focus on a specific thing you are passionate about. But yeah, like having that database telling people, hey, I'm not going to keep doing this because I don't know if you're engaging that much. But if you found what I was doing somewhat helpful, here's this thing that has everything. If I continue to find resources, I'm going to continue to put them there. And something I also do consistently on my Instagram is if someone passes or someone is murdered by the state, I make a post of them. It helps me to not be desensitized to death. And I do a bit of research about who they were, that I can write something sensitive. And now I think I'll add at the end of those just ways that people can take action to prevent this state violence and things like that. So instead of it just being a post about someone who has passed and people being sad about that, they can then take that sadness or that anger and take action. And that way I don't have to keep randomly posting like about different organizations or different meetings or different protests or different GoFundMes. It can all just be on that post, and then I can also direct them to my link tree. Because I'm learning more and more how to balance my digital activism and my IRL activism, and I think that's the best way to do that. So, and once I finish it, I'll put it on my YouTube, and then I'll put it, I'll also do the same thing with links. Like if I'm talking about a specific subject in a video, I will like link different ways to take action and stuff like that and everything. Because I'm kind of past only talking about stuff. If I'm going to talk about something on the internet, I'm going to give people what they can do about it. And I try to make it as easy as possible for them to engage with those resources, because it's hard out here and people are overwhelmed and they don't have time, and so I try to make it as easy as possible. I might need to be going to work soon, so let me check the time.